I moved into my new apartment 3 months ago. I liked the place, quiet neighbors, safe neighborhood, or at least that's what I thought, until I met the neighbor across the hall, the man who, as far as I can tell, never blinks. I met him the first night I moved in. I was carrying a heavy box, fumbling with my keys, struggling with the door, when he just appeared. He was standing there in the hallway, tall, pale, perfectly still. He was staring straight at me, not blinking, not moving a muscle, just staring. I tried to break the silence with an awkward smile. "Hey," I said, "I'm new here. Just moving in." He didn't respond. There was no change in his expression. Just those eyes, wide, dry, unblinking. It felt like a full minute passed before he finally gave a slow, deliberate nod, and then turned around and walked back into his apartment, closing the door behind him without ever saying a word. Days passed, and the strangeness only escalated. Every morning, like clockwork, when I opened my door to leave for work, he was there, standing in his own doorway, directly across the hall, facing me. It was like he'd been waiting for me. His eyes were always fixed on mine. I decided to test it once. I just stood there pretending to look for my keys in my bag, and I timed him. He stood perfectly still, staring, for 6 full minutes without blinking, not once. I started getting paranoid. I would wait, pressing my ear against my door, listening for any sign of him before I dared to step out. But it didn't matter. Somehow, every single time I opened my door, he was already there, waiting. I tried to rationalize it. I told myself he was just weird, maybe socially awkward. Perhaps he had some kind of medical condition that affected his eyes. But then things got so much worse. One night I heard noises outside my apartment. It was around 2 in the morning. Faint scratching, a soft shuffling. My heart started pounding. I crept to the door and looked through the peephole, and I almost screamed. He was standing right in front of my door, his face pressed close, staring directly into the peephole. It was as if he knew I would look, as if he was waiting for my eye to appear on the other side. I stumbled back from the door, my hand over my mouth, trying not to make a sound. I froze, listening, but I didn't hear him leave. There were no footsteps, no sound of his door closing. The next morning, shaking, I checked the hallway security camera footage on the building's app. What I saw made my blood run cold. The timestamp showed he was already standing there at 11:47 p.m., perfectly, still unblinking. He didn't even flinch when little bugs crawled across his face. Then, at exactly 3:14 a.m., the hallway lights flickered, and for one single frame, just one frame of the video, he wasn't in front of my door anymore. He was behind me, inside my apartment, looking at the camera over my shoulder. I never heard my door open. I was in my bed the whole time, and when the lights came back on a split second later, he was suddenly back in the hallway again, just as he was before. The next day I went straight to the landlord, furious and terrified. I showed him the footage on my phone. His face went completely pale. He immediately got up, walked over to his office door, and locked it. He came back to his desk and whispered, "Don't talk to him. Don't answer him if he tries to talk to you. If he knocks on your door, pretend you're not home. And whatever you do, never ever look at him for too long." I asked him what he meant, what was going on. He just shook his head violently. "He's not supposed to be here anymore," he stammered. I demanded answers, but he refused to say another word and practically shoved me out of his office. When I got back to my floor, my neighbor's door was wide open. Inside, it was just pitch black, a dark, silent void, like a mouth waiting to swallow something whole. And then I noticed it. Something on the floor right in front of my doormat, a small yellow sticky note. It had my name on it, and underneath in messy handwriting it said, "I see you too." That night I pushed a heavy chair against my front door. I couldn't sleep. I just sat on my couch in the dark, staring at the door, listening. Around 3 a.m. it started. A soft tap, tap, tap. On the wood I held my breath, my body rigid with fear. Then the tapping stopped. Complete silence. After what felt like an eternity, I slowly crept towards the door. I had to know if he was gone. I leaned forward and put my eye to the peephole, and he was there, staring directly into it. His face was so close I could see every dry, cracked line around his unblinking eyes. And then he whispered, but his mouth didn't move. The voice seemed to come from all around me. It said, "Blink for me." I fell backwards, scrambling away from the door. Then the handle clicked once, twice, and then, slowly, it began to turn. The chair I'd wedged underneath it screeched across the floor as something pushed from the other side, harder and harder. The wood of the doorframe began to groan, and then it stopped. Silence. No footsteps walking away. Nothing, but the handle had stopped turning. I sat there in the dark for hours, shaking, until the sun came up. Morning finally came. With trembling hands, I opened my door just a crack, and saw something taped to the outside. It was another sticky note. This one just said, "You blinked." At that exact moment, I heard a floorboard creak. Not from the hallway. From behind me. I turned around. My neighbor was standing inside my apartment right behind me, and this time, he wasn't the one who refused to blink. I was, because I knew if I did, he would move. "Don't look away,"